Yeah. Here we are today.
No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
That means we have to start, I think.
Man,
yeah.
I love Joe Dirt. It reminds me of my brother.
Yeah.
He could, my brother, when he was alive, he could literally recite the whole movie.
Really? You know what I'm going to do, man?
Word for word.
I'm going to go home and watch Joe Dirt tonight.
You never watched it?
Yeah, I watched it, but I'm going to go watch it again.
I need to watch it again.
You know who did a good job in that is Kid Rock. He did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's going to do that. But
look, y'all, we're on a budget, and we can't afford the actual software. So
I get an email at least 4 times a day that he tried to log in to my account.
It keeps kicking me out.
Man, I'm like, look, Tim's the one that put the password on the account. Why does it keep emailing me and telling me that somebody tried to log into the account that he set up?
I'll change it. I'll try to change it. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
No, it's not, because then it ends up where you're having to wait, and sometimes he can't get.
It's kind of like Steve's car emails me and tells me that
the tires are low, and the tires are not low.
Does it really?
Hey, all jokes aside, I got an email the other day that the 21 GMC Denali 2500 had a low tire.
Yeah.
And we only have one 21. That's the guy. So I call him. I said, hey, Bubba, what you doing? He was like, well, I'm not having a very good day. You know, he talks all proper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you have a flat? He's like, how'd you know? I said, I'm on it. Let me tell you.
I'm on it.
I said, I got that Starlink, that Elon Musk. I watch you all the time. Anyway, he did have a flat. A flatbed in front of him, 18-wheeler flatbed, lost a 4x4 piece of dunnage. And it was flipping down the highway, and he hit it kind of like somebody else I know hit something. And he hit it and blew his tire out, broke the rim, cracked the rim up, and then the board went through the transmission pan and drained all fluid out.
Really?
Had to have it towed.
Oh, man.
So it was a coyote.
Hey, man. We're different. We're gonna go in a different direction before he starts talking about.
He's
people
deflecting.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, man.
I'll deflect with you.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, man. We are glad y'all tuning in. Yeah, we do got a guest, man. This is he got a whole bunch of different names in my book. I call him Kinfolk.
I call him Kenny.
Yeah. He just made that up.
I thought he was just walking down the road, and you let him come in and get a drink of water.
Yeah, and then I said, hey, man, you look like you probably pretty interesting fellow. You want to talk on the show?
Yeah, I saw the neons and figured there was something kind of cool going on in here.
There's no beer in here.
There is. It's just hot.
Yeah. We found some.
Can we drink beer on the podcast?
This is Montez, man.
You can.
Yeah.
There's another rule against it, I don't think.
We just had to tape it up. You know how it is, man.
Let's put some electrical tape around it.
Yeah.
Put it
Or
in a bag.
Or we get us like a kegerator, you know, and it's cold. We have some frozen mugs and
I do it like my papa did in the brown bag.
Yeah.
the
Brown
top
bags.
down.
My pops used to do that's when you knew he was gonna drink that 24 ounce on the way home. He keep it in a paper sack. Yeah, Kinfolk's here, man. Kinfolk come through. He's doing some stuff for school, and he's gonna do an interview here in a little bit with Troy.
What grade is he in?
I'm 40
He's
year
kind of
old.
old to be in school. I mean, for you to
16th
say,
grader.
Speaking of Joe Dirt.
16th grader.
Yeah.
Oh man.
he said 16th grader. I like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But before we get into all that, and I think honest truth, he said, "You think it'd be good on the show? It's even content. I think it's gonna be great, just because it's
I haven't read these questions.
no, it's good. It's business oriented. It's
Just about your bank account numbers.
It's yeah. Hey, speaking of that, so I had to go get a check for rent today, and I sat down and I said, I need to make a full withdrawal, close the account of Troy Massey's account. The banker looked at me and said, I'll split it with you. But we didn't. He didn't do it. But anyways,
Good thing.
yeah, he's got an assignment of You tell us what this assignment is.
So I'm taking an agricultural leadership course, and it's part of the curricula that I have to take to. So the bachelor's that I'm getting is not a traditional bachelor's because I'm returning after having an associate. So I'm getting credit for courses that I'm not actually taking.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. So it was only 30 hours. So it's more, I still have to get all of the basics caught up that my associates 20 years ago didn't cover. And
Okay.
yeah, so it's industrial technology administration. So it's a little bit of technology based, industrial based, and also if you know thinking about management.
Okay, so just a disclaimer. You said agriculture, and we do truck shows, goofing off. We got a podcast.
You haul chickens though, right?
We have one truck that hauls chickens.
Agriculture.
You
All right.
own cows.
Yeah.
We
Y'all
do,
check cows together all the time, don't y'all?
we do check cows.
I just make sure his count's right. So.
How many did you count? Okay, all right.
So he's not somebody was roaming down the street and Troy does actually know
I made
him.
that up.
But yeah, he's just going to ask some.
I do see him roaming down the street.
Yes.
When we walk at night, I see him sometimes.
Yeah.
And then when we ride our four-wheelers over, our buggies with air conditioner,
It's not a bug.
I got to lift the window on mine. I don't have AC.
when we ride our buggy over to check cows, we usually see him on the back road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do see each other, like, roaming around the road.
On
Yeah.
the streets.
It is on
We'd
the
be on the streets.
I'll be in them streets.
Yep.
I know
them
it.
county
Better
roads.
Watch out, boy. They're
Streets
going
be
to get you like
calling.
they did Young Dolph. Be in them streets like that.
Did I tell you about what we decided, the big thing the other day?
Nah, you said you wasn't going to say nothing.
Oh, man.
We have to do it off air. Don't do it right now.
Hey, guys, I can't tell you.
No, you can't tell them because then you.
Yeah, it's gonna
Because we're
blow.
going to go to Matt's next year and it's going to be wood floors everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So we
And
can't
and our
tell
floor is going to be.
not wood.
I got my idea.
I know you do, but
I
we
didn't
can't
tell y'all what it was.
No, because
No, you got the idea on the show last
I
time.
did, and
Yeah.
then I forgot to.
Greatest idea in the world.
In the
We're still
world
waiting.
is what you said.
Yeah.
It is
And then he
legitimately.
went, squirrel.
It is legitimately the greatest idea
Okay.
in the history
Of
of
Matt's.
truck shows.
You wrote
Okay.
it down, right?
Huh?
You wrote it down.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So what's the dusting the winds in the shop?
Yep, making progress.
Yep. What's the other hot topic? Listen.
I got some great
Okay.
ideas.
Okay, listen. I hit something the other day in this old raggedy bucket and knocked the tank filler off, and I mean,
Man, Justin did such a good job on that too.
That dude's got some mad skills.
Yeah,
on the
he's
shock
good.
box cover, yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, we worked late. That's
He
a
said
lot
he
of
worked.
work
He
goes
said he
into
worked
that.
16 hours that day. 16.
Man, it
20
was a
hours.
lot of work goes into that.
He
It
said
was
his legs was chapped.
He
Yeah,
was
from sweat.
He was chafed, and it was one point in the night that he's standing there looking at the wires, and he's like, and I said, "Bro, you good?" He's like, "Tired." I was like, "They're not gonna hook themselves up, dog." But so here's what happened. So I knocked the tank filler off the truck, knocked the lights out of it. Thank goodness the light wire was holding it.
Hey, look.
Hey, I knocked the tank filler off, so we get the truck back to the shop and we tear the motor out of it.
Hey, it's just getting it started.
I mean,
Just get it
we
started.
broke a light.
Yeah.
Broke a
rebuild the
light,
motor.
needed-
Yeah.
Why not?
It was leaking oil, man.
Yeah, we can't have
A
that.
lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was leaking oil. And that ring still hadn't seated yet, did it?
It's gonna seat when we get done. That mug gonna be hot. Shout out Danny Salmons.
Yeah. Shout out to Ricky too, man. Ricky be knocking the motors out.
Hey, that Ricky. He
be
knows.
knocking the motors
That
out.
dude knows what he's doing.
All right,
Anyway,
so check this out.
Good dude.
let's talk to our guest.
So Kinfolk's on the show today.
Hey,
Kinfolk reached out to me. He said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to somebody that's in business and somebody that's I could get some leadership advice from." So he done showed up with his schoolwork and papers and everything, and he's ready to.
Who's he gonna interview?
He ain't gonna be me.
Because ain't none of us in here got no leadership skills.
Maybe you do and you just don't know it.
Oh,
All right, Kenny, ask all the questions you want to me, buddy. Go ahead.
to me.
Well,
Step out and get a drink.
we'll let y'all do
It's
it.
a Barney Fife move right
got
there.
it.
If I ever saw one.
We're gonna run down to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Got that one bullet. In your
All
gun,
right,
huh?
so I read some of the questions. They're pretty good questions.
many-
I'm actually interested in hearing Troy's response to some.
How many questions do we have? 'Cause I'm scared of taking tests.
Nah, they're all
8,
8.
Okay.
One of them look long. You're gonna have a hard time with the long one.
4 and
I'm
4.
gonna have a hard time reading my own writing.
I'll tell you, he handed it to me. He's like, these good questions. And I said, man, I can't read this.
I can't
But
read.
I made as much sense of it as I could. So, all right, so explain to us what we're doing,
Okay. So
what this is for.
yeah. So I'm 40-year-old college student.
Come on up a little bit
Not
on that microphone.
Not totally 40 yet, but I'm knocking on
You
it.
close. You closer than I am.
Just
Yeah.
call it 40.
Yeah. So I'm 40. Going
Round
back
up.
after 20 years to finally complete my bachelor's degree,
Yep.
In
industrial technology administration.
for anybody that asked me what Ken Folk was going to school for,
Yeah,
there it is.
There you go.
I said, I don't know, something to do with computers, and
Yeah.
completely wrong.
Yeah. Well, that was my original. So I
Okay.
do have an IT degree, associates, but
Okay.
anyways, at this point though, it's really this is me completing this is just my middle finger to my mother, who always reminds me that
Man,
I
we
should have
can't
done it
do
20
that.
years
We
ago.
can't
so-
do that. You can't flip our mamas off on the show, man. It's a kid's show.
Not anymore.
Kid friendly.
Not anymore.
Charlotte, that was him saying that, not
Sorry,
me.
Mom. Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. I don't
No.
know you, but
Yeah.
No, I say that in jest, but anyways, so the purpose of this is I have to write an essay about someone that maybe I see has a good position as a leader already, or
You
has
clearly don't know him.
leadership
it's Tim.
potential. Where did we go here? Okay, I'm back. Anyways, so I've been reading the book, John Maxwell, 5 Levels of Leadership.
Okay. Clearly you read it. Troy don't read.
Yeah,
I don't read books.
I'll read it to you. At
But
night
he'll
if
tell
want
you
me to.
about 5 books he done read.
I'm not gonna read
Winnie
that
the
book.
Pooh or what?
No, he'll tell you I don't read nothing, and then he'll say, I was reading this book. Makes no sense at all.
I don't read books, but I was reading one time.
But the one I did, and then I read this other book. He went from not reading to it sounded like he read every night. So go ahead.
You can get an audiobook. I mean,
Yeah, that's true,
listen to it on the way. So, all right. So the 5 levels of leadership, just to break it down for everyone watching here, you have level 1 is positional. So that's basically you have the title. Okay.
That's all he's got.
That's it. You know, you have the title. Then you have permissional. So permissional is relationship based. So that's where you're actually developing a rapport with the people that you're working with. All right. After that, you have productions. So that is result based leadership.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. Okay. So we're gonna
I'm
skip 1
not-
and 2, but we're gonna go straight to 3, right?
Time out on.
Go ahead.
He's the best truck driver you got.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
Go to number 4.
Clearly.
Okay. So number 4 is when you step into people development. So this is reproducing leaders. All right. So you're taking and developing people that you have.
We're getting more into.
Yeah. So you're basically
We're getting more into me now.
yeah.
What level is that?
So that's level 4.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And that's where you are basically training your replacements.
Okay, so go
Steve.
ahead. You got 5. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Fifth level is what they consider the pinnacle. So that's,
Okay, that's what I was finna ask you.
No,
one
you're
the
number.
least.
No, you're number 1. You just got the title. Kinfolk, he just got the title. That's it.
Explain number 5.
Okay,
The pinnacle.
so this is basically reputation based. All right, and so it's basically to what the Cheshire Cat told Alice in Alice in Wonderland. So when you know where you're going, any road will get you there. So
That's deep, boy. And that come off Alice in Wonderland?
yeah, Cheshire
Man,
Cat.
boy.
That's actually a pretty good saying there, Cheshire.
Yeah.
That's deep, man.
Yeah. So when you get to level 5, that's basically saying, okay, you've got the position, you've made the rapport with the people, you have produced, then you have developed people to go and replace you. So basically, as a leader, in theory, you want to train your replacements in a sense of you want to work yourself out of a job as a leader, as a true leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
so-
could talk about all these a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not doing that because your story times be long.
Yeah.
So he gonna ask these questions over there, and you can answer them. Quit trying. No,
Man,
no, no.
I'm a visual learner, man. I gotta read this.
Good luck reading that.
Okay.
So
Position is Steve. Permission.
So
okay, so I did write just a few questions here.
Where's truck driver on this? Because this Steve ain't.
Hey, yeah.
hey, clearly, nobody else in your class is gonna have an interview like this.
That's good though. I go
Yeah.
my own way.
Yeah. Tell them, say, you know what? I was supposed to write a paper, but I think
I got a
visualization.
video.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah, for all you visual learners out there.
No, I'm a legitimate visual learner.
Oh man,
Like
me too.
when he was reading this, I have to read it with him. I have to read it too.
Yeah.
I can't hear it.
If you can read that, you
That's
have
why
problems.
you don't remember nothing I say.
Well, that's the way people memorize, though, too. It's the way actors memorize their lines is they read it and they say it out loud.
By the
and
way,
they-
I'm an exceptional actor.
yeah, we saw that.
We know.
Go
dude.
ahead.
We saw that.
Okay.
Hey, I'll tell you, I did like a 10-second clip in a video that we did at work. You guys know about that video, but it was terrible for me because I could sit there and tell you all day long. They turn the light on, go blank. So,
Really?
Yeah, that's me.
That's what I shine.
It's not easy.
Man, I'm like I'm the white Denzel. Straight up.
Wenzel.
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 That's my brother. Go ahead.
Okay, first question. How do you handle failures? So, as things don't go as planned, how do you cope with that? How do you move forward?
Okay, so the short answer, I'm going to try to keep the
I'll
answer
put these here so he can read them.
rather short. So in business for me, I always focus more on failure than I do on success because I feel like you learn lessons through failure more of a permanent lesson off of failure, and you won't forget it. If you learn a lesson off of success, then yes, you reap the benefit of the success, but you may not learn the most important lesson of what not to do. So for this first question is like literally is my textbook number one thing that I study the most. Failure in other people's business than your business. Because like my mentor taught me, you should know more about your competitor than he knows about himself. Then you know about yourself. So it's two different things. So
It's no different than football team watching football reels or
Exactly.
or a fighter
Yep.
watching a fighter. And
exactly. So I want to know and this is what I do every day. I want to know everything going on with my competitors. I want to know what they pay, who they hire, what's their hiring process, what equipment do they drive. I want to know the tire size. I want to know the transmission. I want to know, is it a Freightliner? Is it a Peterbilt? What kind of vacuum pump do they run? Fruitland versus.
Yeah, that's good.
Because all those things are what I consider like an uptime.
Yeah.
And it also helps me to understand how well do they know the business. Because if you put the wrong tool out there for the application, well, obviously you're in a couple of categories. I've already answered this too long. But
That's okay.
if they put the wrong tool, but you can kind of get the job done, my opinion on that is then you've already set yourself up for not necessarily failure, but
Not as it's going to cut into, let's just say, profits. You're not gonna be able to do it in as a timely fashion
Not as
or
efficient.
as efficient or as good
it's
a
more
quality.
it's more efficiency
Yeah.
because if you choose a subpar tool to try to get the job done, well, if I'm the competitor, then I want to study and I want to say, why did you choose that tool? You can still get the job done, but did you choose that tool because it was cheaper? Because you couldn't afford the right tool? Because you don't know what you're doing? Or because you couldn't get the correct tool financed? So you chose an old, wore-out tool.
Or you just don't care.
Or you just don't care.
Yeah.
So the law of fast, cheap, or good. You can have
Yeah.
two.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't have all three.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the types of things. When I look at other people's business practices, their safety, their hiring practices, we hired a guy not long ago from a competitor, and we filled out all this paperwork. I like the guy. I mean, I've got a pretty good eye for truck drivers. I'm generally pretty good at picking out good ones.
Boy, you've got a dud with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say what happened there.
Yeah.
Everybody
Everybody gets everybody gets a dud
man,
though.
he
You
had
know, I
he's
mean,
a
had
media guy.
He had a
Yeah.
hidden agenda. He had a whole nother.
He's a media guy.
So segue over to what happens when they're not what you thought they were.
Yeah.
No, I'm just-
Well, if you suck as a
When they lied
driver,
on
you
that
get one of them
resume.
office jobs.
He's number one. He's positioned.
Okay.
But we took this guy and we said, okay, dude, here's your paperwork. We liked him. He's had plenty of experience. Sent him to do, his pre-employment drug test. He says, oh, we got to take drug tests? And I'm like,
oh, that's the bad
said-
sign.
I always forget to study for those.
Yeah.
I said,
I've been studying a long time.
man, you got a CDL. This is a truck driving job. You got to take a pre-employment drug test. He said, oh, no, I don't want this job.
Wow.
That's
I said,
crazy.
what? He said, I can't pass a drug test. And I said,
Hey, you got to respect the honesty, though.
but I said, but you're working for somebody right now. I know who they are. He said, yeah, but we don't do that over there. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Hardest workers I've ever been around were on meth.
I tell you, bro.
They'll
But
tell you too. The bosses will tell you too. Man, I hated losing them over that. And it's like they were hard workers.
I take 5 of him right now. Yeah, he'll take your perfectly working TV apart, too.
Anyways, did I answer the question?
Yes, you did. All right, go to
That was
question number
good.
2.
Question 2.
Okay, question 2. 5 years ago.
Are you recording right
Yeah,
now?
I'm
Okay,
recording.
all right. Making sure you get your homework.
Yeah.
So-
5 years ago, did you think you were going to be here, where you are now?
I have exceeded my 5-year goal
Okay. So,
rather significantly. My 5-year goal was to build the company. So you can look at it from a truck number standpoint or from a revenue standpoint. If I looked at it, I don't want to talk about money, so I'll talk about. I try really hard not to talk about money with anyone ever because it brings
except
up.
for me and him. No, I'm just picking.
and the bank teller. Bank teller, that's okay. Though.
Yeah, you better talk about money with the banker, man. No, it does.
It just brings up so much jealousy and hatred and,
Yeah.
Well,
and
and it'll generate people that don't even know that they're feeling a certain kind of way.
Yeah, it'll blacken somebody's heart pretty
It
quick.
will.
it will because of jealousy. But my goal in 5 years was to get up to about a 50 truck operation, and
Dang.
we made that in like 6 months.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah,
Dang.
So what's your total head count now, truck wise?
300. We have about 325 employees.
Okay. That's Massey and or it's just
tri-state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
What
'cause
about
you're-
5 years from now?
Is this question 3?
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-part question.
Okay.
So
5 years from now,
like Denzel.
yeah,
Training day 2.
Academy
lead
Awards.
role.
I'd like to be in training day too. I think Denzel lived after they shot him all those times, and
Let's
I
go for
want to
not
be.
getting shot.
I want to be the guy to like run up there.
Roll him. You're gonna have to roll him out of the hospital.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna roll up behind him, and then I'm gonna
Save him.
this hair is gonna go. I'm gonna be speeding through there.
What
Hold
did you
on.
just say?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll up through there. Skirt, skirt, and I jump out, and I'll mow them Russians down. Pow, pow, pow. Just like that. And then I'm like, Denzel, get in the car, man. And he's like, I can't walk, Troy. I can't walk. And then I scoop him up and I throw him in the back seat, adrenaline running through my veins. I don't even feel like I picked him up. I just like toss him over my shoulder,
Yeah.
throw him in the back seat. I'm in my G-Wagon,
Are
right?
you shooting at him more?
With one hand. Yes, but I done killed them all.
Okay.
I'm in the G-Wagon, G63 AMG, all blacked out.
Bravest.
Bravest 900. I done threw him in the back seat, right? And I'm like, all right, Denzel, put some of these napkins on your wounds.
There's blood everywhere.
Because I'm in the Bravest 900. We're at the hospital like that.
Yeah.
and I saved his life. And then we come back for training day 2. And here's the thing. He turns out to be a good cop because he saw life flash between his eyes.
Between his eyes or before his eyes?
It was between.
It was in there deep.
Oh.
Oh, please make make that the steal.
I just made all that up. I need to
Okay, so
write a movie.
I'm sorry, kinfolk. I'm sorry.
Call that producer guy.
Listen,
The producer guy you were talking to today about doing a show for us. Will you tell him I need to write?
Man, you clearly you surpassed your 5-year goals, but you're clearly gonna not reach the next 5.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Hey, don't put that in the universe. You never know.
You never know.
My
Second
bad.
part.
I tell
Second
you
part.
what, when you go in to get your Academy Award, I'll go as your guest. He can
Thank
stay
you.
here.
Thank you, Kim folks.
That's right.
Okay, so 5-year goal, I would like for Massey Motor Freight to grow, but I want to grow it into not only just a trucking company, and I want to grow it into a major force. And I've got my eyes set on a competitor because for me, as a competitor, I think the most important thing you can do is pick out who you want to beat.
Yeah.
And it's got to be way up there. Like, I don't want to beat a 50 truck operation. I want to beat somebody big.
Yeah.
And then when I achieve that, well, I mean, I can't start out saying I want to beat Swift.
Right.
They too big. They got 20,000 trucks.
Yeah.
But I can pick somebody with 1,000.
Yeah.
And I can say, you know what? I'm coming for you, and I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
You may not know me now, but a lot of people didn't know me,
Yeah.
and they do now.
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean, they laughed at you when you left the company you was working at.
the company that I left in the oil field laughed.
And then I'll say this: some people will know it, and then here a few months back, they wanted us to buy them. That company. So
We bought the company.
That's trucking karma.
I'm telling you.
We bought the company that I sat in the safety meeting as a truck driver.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave because I needed that job.
Yeah.
And I was making $14 an hour. And I needed that job because I was raising kids. And that man told me flat out, if you don't like it, there's the door. I got somebody in here by tomorrow to replace you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave.
Prime
And
example,
I bought them.
Yeah.
I bought them in 2020.
Yeah.
Prime example of a positional leader. All he had was the title.
What's that? Number 4? That's 4?
No, that's
That's
number
number
one.
one.
That's number one.
So,
Okay.
so probably, after reading the book, and I'm probably skewing the numbers here, but probably 75 to 80% of people who are in leadership positions never pass level 1.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's
They get
it's
to
believable.
I agree with
yeah,
that.
It's believable.
They get to the position and they never develop past that.
Well, they think I
I'm
made
there.
it.
Yeah.
And these mean a lot. I mean, this means a lot to me because when you do start progressing up this ladder,
Yeah.
you get to a point where you don't want to get to number 5. I see a lot of leaders that could be great.
Well, you've
And
even got people that could be great leaders that don't want to be.
No, but I'm going to tell you why.
Also.
I'm going to tell you why I see. There are people that get to number 3, and that's production, on their way to being great, but they won't do number 4 because they're afraid that if they train somebody to replace them, that they'll lose their job.
Yeah.
And they will not move to number 4. So they wind up losing their job anyways because somebody at number 2 goes
Passes
to number 3, and then their senior management sees them and they say, you know what? Because one thing I always said was, even in my jobs, when I worked for my mentor, I wanted his job.
Yeah.
My goal was to tell him, you take off anytime you want because I'm number 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to run this place, and if I'm doing my job, no one should be able to tell if you're here or not
Yeah.
as the owner.
Yeah.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this. I thought I was doing 100%, at the time, when I started Tri-State, I called him and apologized. I called him and apologized, and I said, bro, I'm sorry. I thought I was giving it 100%. And he laughed, and he said,
Now you see.
yeah, redneck. You did good.
Yeah.
He said, you never let me down, redneck, but I'm going to tell you, now you know what it's like
Yeah.
to personally guarantee.
Yeah.
I'm personally guaranteed on tens of millions of dollars in debt on all these trucks and yards and shops and trailers and all this. When you sign on that and they can come take your house, you work like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I want to grow the over the road. I see an opportunity with over the road, but you got to be big. I don't think unless you're going to drive your truck and just be an owner operator.
Well, I don't even think you can do that at this point. Right now until things go down.
Everything's gonna have to
Fuel
change a
costs
little bit.
and
I've got some great information. Y'all tune into next week's show because I spoke. A friend of a friend. We're late on the show today because I had an hour-long conference call. It wasn't even a conference call. He just called me. I requested a phone call with this guy. He's a friend of a friend. I barely know him. I can't believe he called me, but he's on, Fox Business all the time. He's on CNBC. He's on MSNBC, and he's an analyst, world renowned.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a guy that knows him pretty well, and I texted him this morning, and I said, "Can you educate me some on some of this stuff that I'm curious to learn about?" And he texted me back, and he said, "If you'll give me your insight on trucking today." And the supply chain.
Yeah.
And I said, good
Without
trade.
a doubt. Yeah.
And so I've been waiting all day, and I was thinking if he was going to call me. And then he called me, and I was like, it's unbelievable.
But that goes to say with these steps or these different levels is to be the CEO of the company, the owner that still gets out, that'll decal a truck or still do this and still do that. Some people would get to that point and be done and say we're good. And as successful as Tri-State is and quit, but he's still continuing. That's reaching out to somebody that has nothing to do with trucking that knows business and finance and going, hey, I need some more.
Yeah.
I need to know more.
You know what? That's good news for America too. That's good news.
So
people are talking.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right, so
go ahead.
Next question.
Okay. This is one that I think everybody in life could answer this question very easily.
Okay.
But if
Tim's ready to answer a question.
but we'll keep it business related.
Okay.
If you had one
You're
do-over,
out.
what would it be?
I didn't hear the question.
I know a couple of them questions he can't say on this show.
I didn't hear the question. Repeat it loudly again.
If you had one do-over, what would it be?
Okay.
I guess the biggest one is a real estate. I guess the biggest thing for me was a real estate deal that I was being hard-headed. I misjudged the seller, and I thought they were in a weaker moment than what they were, and I had the dominance and the money, and I thought they were weaker than what they were, so I thought I had all of the upper hand, and so I was forcing them on a deal, and I wound up losing it. And if I would have just not been so hard-headed or so arrogant is a good word. If I hadn't have been so arrogant, I could have got that deal, and it would have been great for my company. Even today, it would have been great. But that's probably the biggest thing, and probably the second biggest thing is I bought a group of trucks one time that I let somebody talk me into, and I shouldn't have bought them.
But
The whole group.
you know next time though, right?
Yeah.
To invest a little more into
Time investigating,
yeah.
looking into.
I'm really bad about if a guy calls me and I trust him, I don't even look at it. I mean,
I told him the other day he sent me a truck. He sent me a truck in a group text between me, him, and Jacob, and he sent me a truck and said, "Man, he asked if either of us knew the guy through social media or truck shows, and he's like, man, it's a super clean truck, like really clean. I think it's worth what he's asking. And I said, and Jacob said, it is a good looking truck. I said, can you not buy a truck sight unseen again? And then he said, this is only truck driver conversation. You, Steve, you don't have any weight in this.
I can't believe that Jacob didn't know the guy.
Oh, I know. He knows everybody in truck.
I literally, and it was a good looking truck too. And I'm like, Jacob, how in the world do you not know this guy? Because if he would have said I knowed him, I would have wired that money to the guy right then. I'm still looking at the truck right now thinking, why didn't I buy that?
I don't know, man.
I just realized the root word for investigate is invest.
Time,
You got to invest.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to investigate before you invest.
But I don't buy from that many people, though.
No.
All right, what was that, 4?
Yes.
Yeah, that's number 4.
All right. So
You got to write like a 7-8 page paper on this.
Yeah.
Golly, I'm about to talk more.
No, that's okay though. I can paper.
Yeah.
I can paper. So, how do you engage people who have either low motivation or have lost their motivation?
Okay, this is a principle core belief of mine, and it kind of comes in waves. The way that I work with the management, and it's probably time for me that we talk about this because you can't say the same thing all the time because you start sounding like a broken record. But one thing that we've done a good job at Tri-State with is we don't just throw people away because you're not successful in a position. I've always thought, and I believe to my core, that let me pick on you for a minute.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, you do. Yeah, you can do it. No. I know what he's going to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay. When Steve did the video at the truck show, he did not work here.
We did, yeah. He's talking about the
the first video.
Yeah, the first show.
We hired y'all to do the truck show, and then y'all made the video, and then you made the shift record.
Right.
All right. I saw the talent that was interesting to me because I've always thought that Tri-State has been successful because of the way we market. It's unorthodox, it's crazy, but it works. I don't think it would work for anyone else because you can't redo it because then it's like you're just trying to be like Tri-State.
You can't mimic it. That's true.
Yes. Yeah. We did something that no one's ever done before, and I don't think even I couldn't redo it because you get one shot. So
why did Eminem song pop in my head when he said that?
I thought the same thing.
Mom spaghetti.
So Steve was working out of town or something. What were you doing?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter what he's doing. Anyways, he said, "Hey man, I need a job." You know,
I was lawn care. I was working.
You're doing lawn care.
Yeah.
And the winter had come around.
Winter come around. He said, "Man, can I get a job?" I said, "Man, all we got is nights." And he said, "I'll do whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He's not. I figured I didn't know him that well. I figured he would say, "Nah, bro, I'm dazed. This is what I'm gonna do, and I better get a nice truck and this and this and this and this." But he said, "I'll work nights. I'll haul whatever you need me to haul. I'll drive whatever. I just need a job." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he started, and he worked, I don't know, months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever, and we kind of kept in contact, but not a lot, just a piece. And he would just message me from time to time, let me know he still works here and he's working hard. And then it become a little more frequent, and he was still working on some stuff on the side, and he wasn't one of the what I call the hustlers. The fast truck drivers, they don't really drive. I shouldn't say the word fast. They don't drive fast. They don't work fast. I always just say that their heart beats a little bit faster than everybody else.
And there's something different. It's just
they're
weird.
just different.
It is because the truck's not going to pull the water no faster than the other truck.
It takes the same amount of time.
It's
to
just
load.
weird because some people some people can just
They just got the right stride.
that's it.
They're just more productive.
Yeah.
And I do not mean that in a disrespectful manner because some guys are. This leads right into what I'm saying. You know, we pick on him all the time about, you know, he's not a good truck driver. But he was really not that good of a water hauler.
Yeah.
He didn't get that many loads.
Yeah.
And in order to be profitable, like, you got to get loads, man. You go.
Yeah.
You know, be safe, but, like, you got to get your loads. You can't get 2 or 3 loads a night. There's not enough revenue to pay for all the expense because they're working by the hour. Well, anyways, I said, look, man, we were just coming out of COVID. The company was, you know, COVID was rough on us. And I said, look, man, this is what I can afford. It ain't great, but I can get you out of a truck and I can get you into, you know, running the media department, which we didn't have one at the time. We created one. And so he took the job. And it was not a very great paying job. We've since renegotiated, but
Man, everybody don't need to know that. No, I'm playing.
it was pretty humble on his part. He took a risk because he took a job making a lot less money to do something that he wanted to do, and I recognized that. And anyways, so it goes back to this one principle deal. Don't throw people away, because people are the most important asset in any of your business. I don't care if you work on an assembly line. Without people, you have nothing. You have a blank assembly line. You have a bunch of cameras with no people. You have a grocery store across the street with no. You may have checkers, yeah, but you ain't got no stockers.
You know, I want to say something because I know he's trying to finish, but I want to say something about what he's talking about because I'm where he's saying that he moved me over here, he didn't want to throw me away. It don't mean I'm doing everything perfect either. We've had conversations. The greatest thing about Troy as a leader in a company is when he sets you down to point out a flaw, he relates to you instead of being a CEO or owner of a company that says, this is what you need to be doing better. This is how you need to fix this. This is what you need to do. Before he does that or in that process, he lets it be known that he relates to those same problems. One of my biggest things is procrastination. And he pointed that out to me. Hey, you procrastinate too much.
I set a goal for him.
Yeah. And he said, but he let me know that he battled with procrastinating also. So that's a good leader, not to look down on you, but put yourself at eye level with that employee when you explain those things and what they could do better and how they could. He relates himself and goes, hey, I've been there. This is what I had to do. Or this is what, you know what I mean?
May not work for you. I don't know. But this is what I did to overcome.
Yeah.
Remind me after the show to tell you something about procrastination. It's a family show, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
So one of the most important things when you're thinking about people is once you recognize that you and your company is nothing without people, then when you recognize someone in your organization that's not excelling and you allow it to go on, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Their failure is your fault because you didn't do anything about it, because you're not paying attention, because you're too busy doing whatever. But if you're paying attention and you see that, that, Stephen his heart didn't beat fast, when he hauled salt water.
You might want to ask his doctor about that.
It used to, but it don't.
I mean, you're no D Brown. I mean, that just.
Nah, ain't many of those.
I mean, you're just no D Brown. D Brown he's special. He's a special water hauler.
So it's like when you're saying that your heart beats faster, it's almost like when
you're in rhythm.
When you do something that you really, really enjoy, though, too, it kicks your heart in a little bit faster, too. Right?
Yeah, and it's organization, and I mean, there's all kind of things about hauling salt water. I've done it so many years.
Yeah.
I recognize, I was a fast water hauler.
See, I hauled water quicker when I first got into water hauling.
No, he didn't.
When I first got into it,
No,
because
he
it was
didn't.
now listen, because everything was so much closer. Like it was all we hauled from
Don't
was
make
by the
excuses,
expo,
man.
right down 343 back and forth.
And he probably got about 4 loads a
No,
night.
you could no.
Anyways, but if you are a great leader, not a boss, and you're not worried about, number 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you're really in tune and you're worried about getting the right people in the right positions all the time, and every day there's opportunity. I see it all the time, and I try to move people around and put them where they're most effective. But when you have someone who's not most effective in that position, then you got to take a step back and you say, okay, before I go talk to him, let me figure out, like, what's he good at?
Yeah.
This is a big company. We got 300 something employees. There's bound to be somewhere in this company that I could take this individual and make them successful. They're good at something. I don't know what it is right now, but let me take a step back and think about it and say, okay, well, you're not really good at that, but that's just the way you were born. Or did you not get trained properly?
Yeah.
If you didn't get trained properly, that's another question.
Yeah.
Let's
It
assume
still all goes back to leadership, though.
Yeah.
let's assume that you're just not really effective because you just don't really like the job you're doing.
Yeah.
But I could put you over here, say from truck driving over to dispatch, and I happen to need a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Well, boom, you may become the best dispatcher that we've ever
Well,
had.
and he actually made that call too with me, because when I came on as a driver, the supervisor tried to say, well, hey man, we need a dispatcher. You know how to dispatch. You've done that. Let's just plan on you coming in and train as dispatch. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, no, Troy wants you in a truck. And I asked Troy after I had moved positions and we were in the truck together. We spent a lot of time together. I said, why didn't you let me, dispatch when they wanted? He said, because I knew you wouldn't stay.
You wouldn't have been happy there.
Yeah.
You're not a dispatcher,
Yeah.
So, and
Go ahead.
he's great at seeing what it is that people, enjoy and like and do. And that's why you look at like the day one people that have been here. A lot of people will step back and go, what about these guys that started this company with you and they're still driving a truck? Because that's what they want to do.
Well, let's go back to this question, and then we can move on. We still got 3 more. You hear me say a lot of times, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you got a situation where you got a key employee with low motivation, probably need to go look in the mirror. Because something messed up a long time ago,
Yeah.
and you should have recognized it.
Yeah.
Because they don't just come to work one day, greatest employee in the world, and then all of a sudden they come in and they suck.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
That's been happening.
Yeah.
And you was off doing whatever. I don't know what you was doing.
Yeah.
So
this been happening.
Yeah.
one of the
The low
most
motivation.
dangerous-
Yeah.
One of the most dangerous things I've ever seen in organizations is when people get themselves in leadership places and they allow their departments to go autonomously. So they're over there doing their whole own thing, and then their crew is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
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 There's a point where you want to develop them to give them the skill set to do their own thing, but not apart from what you're doing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. What's the next question?
Next question. So, do you have some sort of a template for long range vision and goals, or are we just winging it? You got to have something.
Yeah.
Oh, he does.
I mean, I've got a bunch of long range goals right now, and they're centered around. Now I've achieved a lot of goals, and the funny thing about achieving goals is you need to replace it, or you start whittling it down. You figure out one day you don't have any goals,
Yeah.
and sometimes a simple goal may be what I tell you about the G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I go buy a G-Wagon today.
Yeah.
I don't
But
want
then-
to. I
but then
don't want to buy because I want a G-Wagon.
Yeah. And
I really
once
want-
you feel that want, then what do you replace it with?
Right.
Now, I'm
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
give him a little bit because, I mean, get the G-Wagon because then you can just put that Aventador on the list.
That thing was 1.8 million.
$1.8 million.
It was the last one produced.
For what?
But I don't really
Aventador.
But I don't really want that.
No.
I want a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Yes, I could go buy one.
Yeah.
I'm forcing myself to not achieve that goal yet because I haven't figured out what goal I can replace it with.
Yeah.
Now I realize that's a personal thing to purchase.
Yeah.
I realize that.
Yeah.
But that translates into work.
Yeah.
and it motivates me because, I mean, go back to like when I was, 13 years old mowing grass. I mowed grass because I wanted a pair of Nikes.
Yeah.
That's why I mowed grass.
Yeah.
That was my first pair of Nikes.
Yeah. Jordache.
I had them 1995 Jordache,
baby.
I
Not
take
the
some of them
capers.
jokers today.
No capers.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Capers, boy. Anyways, so long range goals, once you set a long range goal, you need to figure out what's your roadmap to getting there.
Right.
Like I've got a long range goal right now of refreshing my fleet, because when you're growing or up and coming,
Yeah.
you're not thinking about trading out trucks every 3 years.
You
or
just need
4 years.
trucks, right?
I just need trucks and I'm working.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my number one long range goal right now is trading out of, getting rid of older trucks. I've got a computer program at work, dealer's running it, and it identifies my highest maintenance cost vehicles. And as I get new trucks, I'm selling the trucks that are costing me the most money to keep on the road.
Yeah.
So that's going to help my bottom line. And that's a painstaking, especially in this market today, like that you got to have patience for that goal.
Yeah.
Because you don't just go up there and buy 50 trucks. There is no 50
There's
trucks.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got every truck nearly coming into the 3 dealerships, and we probably won't even get 40 this year.
Yeah. And
So
bought
we-
an allotment of 50.
And bought 50.
Yeah.
And bought 40 KWs. Guess how many we get? 8.
8.
That's all.
Yeah.
I got 4 more the other day that somebody else backed out of, and I was like, yeah, I'll take them.
Yeah.
Ford day cab, W990s, Viper Red.
Oh, that's the kind of cool looking little front. Those are cool looking trucks.
Yeah, they're
to
cool
me.
looking trucks.
Yeah. There was one in Florida that I liked, the black one that pulls a Lamborghini trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a pretty sweet Kenworth COE on the road yesterday. It was super nice.
I'm looking for a COE.
Oh, like 50. He knows. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was like an 80s style or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking for
maximum
a-
overdrive.
I'm looking like
55.
I'm looking for a 50s model COE. Fixed up. I don't want to restore it.
We just want to do a motor swap
I just need one that's already fixed up with a gas motor, because,
with not an S10 chassis.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't want to shake that thing apart.
Anyways,
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so next question is, what would you say to the next generation regarding potential growth and leadership?
I would say that they need to go back to question number 5 here, where we talked about
Low motivation.
being in tune with your people, recognizing when they have low motivation, recognizing that, they need to go back through all these questions. And I made a TikTok today, but it's not really funny, but it is, there's a good point to it. Ricky welded him up, fabbed him up a little old makeshift radiator stand. You can't buy that. I get you might can buy it. I don't know. I've never seen one. But I walked in, and he's got his radiator. He got a new radiator for Freebird's truck, and we're rebuilding the motor. It overheated. We don't really know why. Radiator's pretty stopped up. I said, man, just get him a new radiator.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen again. Anyways, we're doing out of frame anyways. So he had the radiator sitting on this stand that he built out of some scrap metal, and I did a TikTok of it. And I said, look, guys, I know everyone says that there's no common sense left in America, but
Yeah.
you can learn common sense.
Yeah.
If you work around people
With common sense.
With common sense.
Yeah.
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 The problem with common sense, and the reason why it's not common, is people don't work around people too much anymore. They're just playing video games.
Right.
And when you're out, if you watch, here's my challenge. When we go out to eat, we don't get on our phones, and I don't allow, my kids are grown now, but when they
Yeah,
weren't
but y'all
grown,
still try not to use phones at the table. You and
we really
boss
try
lady.
hard
Yeah.
not to use phones at the table. I'm telling you this, y'all go out to eat. Go out to eat.
Yeah.
Anyone watching, go
Yeah.
out to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get on your phone. But as you're talking to your wife and listening, you should be, as a man, you should be scanning the room anyways.
All the time. Yeah.
You should always be knowing. You should know every single person that walks in that door and if they're a threat.
Yep.
As you're doing that, watch how many people are not watching the door.
They're on their phones.
They're on their phones. They ain't paying their wife one bit of attention.
Yeah.
You think they're doing that at home? No.
I noticed that when we were down in Houston eating tacos that time, I looked around and everybody in the restaurant was on their phone.
Yeah. And that's why there's no common sense, because when they go home, they get right back on their phone. They not do it and they're not working. And anyways, I made that TikTok and I said, especially if you get out with the older generation, people that actually had to work,
Yeah.
you can learn a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had this conversation with somebody actually yesterday that there's no interpersonal skills anymore.
There's not.
No, it's all social media
Yeah.
skills.
And so everybody communicates through social media or text messages.
Yeah.
Now. Most people won't even pick up and have a mobile conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's the meme. And people are texting and the guy says, he called.
Well, it's the same concept.
So
of
you
like,
get anxiety, right, when you have to have an actual vocal
Yeah, that's
conversation
true.
with somebody.
That's true. Yeah.
we've got a mutual friend that's completely different social media than in person, and it's kind of like when we first started interacting, it was like
It was weird.
it's like, man, it's nothing like social media. Like, what is it was almost like it was awkward
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
wasn't on social media.
Because it's social media, like he's out there.
Yeah.
But then when you're hanging out in person, he's like this cool, collective,
Yeah, it was
quiet
weird.
guy. And I'm like,
You know,
wait a second, you got twin brother?
yeah. But there is, and it's
It's
honestly,
your social media twin is
but
what
at
it
the
is.
end of
Yeah.
the day, at the end of the day, too, it's also the some of the stuff I could say Troy wouldn't want to talk about on the show, so I won't. But it's like, yeah, it's being forced into that direction anyway. So you don't have personal relationships and personal this and that.
What
There's so
happened
many,
with, what happened with COVID?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I mean, these
one of the
kids,
points.
man, these kids missed a whole year of school.
Yeah.
Well, and then you see grown people, like when we first moved into this place here, into this studio, we had a neighbor at the time, and like people like, they don't know, man, should I shake his hand or should I not? Like, it's made this whole weird thing go
Oh,
on
yeah.
where a lot of people won't shake your hand, you know?
We were walking through the airport, and anybody knows Abby, she sneezes all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never met a human being that sneezes more than her.
Have you tried changing your cologne?
I don't wear cologne. She sneezes at everything.
Yeah. It died. That's all good.
Anyways, we were in the airport. We were walking, and she sneezed, and it was a lady walking up. She was from here to the other wall over there. And the lady looked over, and she skirt, goes that way.
Yeah.
And then I made eye contact with her, and she's like, "I'm sorry."
it's there now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Let's
so
get on
anyways,
the. We got
Yeah,
we
let's
got
do this
little
last one.
batteries are running down.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you from the outside looking in.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll tell
just
you
playing,
from the
Tim.
I
outside
know.
looking in. Looking at you from what little I know of you, the few times we've met, and what I've heard other people say.
Well, I'll be talking bad about you, boy.
I will firmly plant you past 4, moving into 5, pretty solid.
Oh, he got moved from
Man,
4
why
to
you
5.
do that to his head,
He,
man?
no, he said
Nah.
I firmly plant you too.
I firmly plant you past 4, moving into 5.
Oh, you not 5 yet. You ain't the pinnacle yet,
You're
player.
working-
You gotta have goals, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
See, now I can't. I got to go to. I'm gonna have.
Hey, I'll tell you though, give him 5 years. I'll tell you, we come back and have this
I
conversation
ain't
again.
gonna take 5 years.
So when he gets to the pinnacle, though, does he get a robe and like a staff or something?
Whatever
or-
he wants.
Okay.
Whatever he wants.
All right.
What's the next question?
Okay. So
Where we at?
when you're talking 4 and 5, this directly pertains to that. Where do you stand on sending the people that you have developed, your best assets, so to speak, out into the world to do their own thing?
It's very individualized.
Well, you just told me one time I can't leave.
Because he
Yeah.
knows you won't survive anywhere else.
Ooh, man, whose team he on? Go ahead.
He's never
He
won.
he lived with me for a few years, so
He's
I'm gonna
positioned.
take my stabs when I can.
Oh no.
That's a good one, Kim.
Yeah. So, I think that so number one, if I were like number 3, would we not even do the last question? Is this like
But that's what we're talking about. When you get into 4, moving into 5, that's.
But
where
if I
you
was
start.
only number 3, would you skip the last question because I'm not worthy?
No,
I'm just playing.
I would still ask you. I would still ask you to get your opinion on it. But this is where I see 4s and 5s will start to struggle because you've invested time into people. You've developed them. You have trained them as your replacement. Now you're saying, am I sending you out into the world to do your own thing as your own for another company? Are we going to work in conjunction moving forward? Where are we at? But this is basically saying, hey, I've invested in you and I believe in you. Now it's your time to do what you feel is best for you, whether that's with me or with someone else. And that's a tough one.
Yeah. The number one repetitive thing that I hear when I talk with big money guys, bankers, big CEOs, the most common thing that you hear is you can't duplicate you. So and I heard that early on, mostly from bankers. But then you start hearing it from once you're up, where I am able to spend times, with other CEOs of major companies who take the time to answer my phone call or call me or text or whatever. And then they'll say the same thing. But the one thing that they say is you cannot duplicate you. And that is this question right here. Once you get a guy that you're a number 5, and now I've got a manager right now that I'm working on. Trust should be somewhere in here. Because, to be a number 5 and to be building someone up, trust is like number 1. Like you have to trust that guy that they're going to do what's right for the company, not for themselves and not for you. They have to do what's right for the company 24/7, 365. And so I've got a guy right now that I'm working on, and once I feel like he's up here and I have, as close as I can, duplicated myself, meaning he's going to do what's right for the company all the time, every time, and he's going to treat people right. He's not going to break the golden rule of we don't cuss people, and we're going to develop people and put them in the best positions that we could possibly put them in. Then yes, I can send him out to open a new, terminal in Oklahoma City, or if we wanted to expand the oil field division to, heaven forbid, we want to go back to West Texas. But if we did, we could, send this guy back out there. If I picked up a major, supplier, shipper, in Chicago, and we wanted to put a big terminal in out there and put 1,000 trucks to work, I have to be able to trust that guy to be able to go, because he's up here and he's got to start with guys that are down here,
Right.
and start developing them. That's a tough job.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of people. I bet. Okay, I'm gonna give my percentage. You give yours. Less than 10%. Right here.
I'd say less than 5 probably reached.
There are not that many people. There are not a lot of number 4s because of what I said. And I see it. And this is the first time I'm reading this. I've never read this book.
That's one he hadn't read yet.
Maybe you want to read though.
But I will tell you this. I have personally, with my eyes, seen a lot of people that will not go to number 4 because they're afraid they might lose their job.
Yeah.
I could think of 5, boom, just like that right now.
What's the chances or possibility that you think you ever, where you can't duplicate yourself? Where's the chances or possibility you ever think that someone sees something in somebody that could surpass them?
I believe that there are a lot of people in leadership positions, and I'll just bump it back to, let's just say, to a management position, that sees more potential in one of their subordinates than they see in their own selves. So they will probably hold that employee back, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't want that employee
Yeah.
bumping them.
100%.
But
Yeah.
you know, as the book says, a true leader will develop that person as their replacement because that gives you the opportunity to move up to something greater. That gives you the opportunity to free up your time to work on other projects where
Yeah.
you're not burdened carrying the task of, you know, what the people below you are doing because you don't trust them enough or you don't
Mine
want to
ain't
trust them
working
enough.
right, man.
No, I'm
Did your book say that big dogs eat last?
that is a book. That is a book. But all I can
It does say they'll sit in the back of the room.
Yeah.
help to think was when I sat in that safety meeting as a truck driver, I was the same man then. I know more now.
Yeah.
I was the same man then. I was hungry. I probably wasn't as hungry as I am now.
Yeah.
Just get hungrier
Yeah.
as I am right now.
Well, I had that conversation at lunch today
And that man
about you. Yeah.
sat right there and treated us like that. And if he would have been a number 5, he would have recognized it
Yeah.
Yeah.
with more than me.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of guys sitting in that room that have moved on and moved up and
Yeah.
moved into very important positions that I respect.
Yeah.
I made friends with them then. I'm still friends with them today. But that's where a major company, a publicly traded company, allowed a man to take a position that had no business with that position. His whole goal in life was to dominate people and
Yep.
suppress them
Yeah.
and treat them poorly and make them feel like they could not go anywhere else. And I use the word dominate in the strongest sense. And it's verbal harassment.
And I think it's that goes back far enough that goes back into your raising and everything.
Well,
I mean, because even my uncle told me whenever I was going to go into law enforcement and went to work in the jail, my uncle told me very young, 19, I think I went to work in the county jail. My uncle told me straight up, he said, Stephen, one thing you've got to always remember is that they're a person just like you. Don't treat them any less than you.
They're all human.
We're all human, and treat everybody the same.
You know what I always
Yeah.
say? Everybody does stuff that they could be in that same spot.
Everybody.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They just got caught.
Yeah.
They ain't a human alive.
No.
I mean, we didn't all murder somebody.
No, we did not.
Let's make that very clear.
No, we did not murder anybody.
Tim was waiting on that. I ain't killed nobody.
I mean,
I've been waiting to say.
but everybody has done something that they could have got a ticket for or a Class A or something.
Yeah.
Misdemeanor, not a felony.
Yeah. You got any more questions?
No, but I was going to say to what you're saying here, and if anybody catches me for getting this wrong, feel free to post it out there. But I believe it's called the Peter Principle, where you
I say that too.
where you are promoted to the level of your incompetence.
Yeah.
So basically, saying here that guy
Is that in the
he's-
book?
I think it brushed on it briefly, but I remember
Peter
it from something
Principle.
else. But basically, saying as a positional leader, he got to his max potential at level 1 because he doesn't have the potential to go any further.
There you have it.
Best
There you
truck
have
driver in town.
Man.
I'm telling you, boy.
So
Hey, man.
Man, we're signing out on that.
Very different show today, but it was cool. I think it was very
Was a good show.
insightful. I think it's great. Thank you for taking
yeah,
the time
I
with Kim
appreciate it
Folk.
very much.
And because I'm always open to, I love, there's some people that just when they talk, you're intrigued. And Troy's just somebody that intrigues me
Yeah.
when he talks. That's why I was all about naming the show Truckin' with Troy.
Trucking with Troy.
Hey,
Hey,
we
man.
doing Truckin' with Troy. Hey, tune in next week though, because we're going to talk about when I had just had an hour-long telephone call about the economy and gas prices and oil prices.
No,
and
next week.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
supply
Next week
chain.
gonna be boring.
No, man, I'm excited about that.
I'm just
It's gonna be much more business because guys, if you're an owner operator, if you're a company owner, I got some good information for you. I hate you gotta wait a week. I'm gonna make some notes so that I remember this stuff. But I'm gonna try. I had an hour-long conversation.
Yeah, he did.
What and y'all waited patiently.
It
Thank
was
y'all.
47 minutes.
47 minutes and 0.2 of a second.
Who's counting, though? Who's
Who's
counting?
counting? I don't know. Anyways, hey,
Steve.
Steve.
We appreciate y'all watching, man. I'm Steve.
I'm Two Take.
Yep, I'm Troy. Thank y'all for tuning in.
And that's Kenny.
Thank you to
Montez, Kinfolk, Kenny. I go by many names.
That's right.
the man of many names. Thank you for coming to the show.
I appreciate you
Yep.
letting me be here.
Thank y'all for watching.